The conference championship games are set. The Falcons got a new head coach, and, well, the Bills need one.
Bills are getting one.
NFL scouting starts now.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is officially in playoff mode every game day during the NFL playoffs. FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action. Visit FanDuel.com to get started.
If you didn't catch the first version of today's show, I did post it on my Twitter account.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I shared it in my Discord channel. I didn't know that it made the rounds.
Yeah, regular cold open intro video. Wee woo. I got to get out of here.
I got to go. I'm glad we saved it. A lot of times our, if we mess up at the beginning or we need to restart, it's over. But, and that, I think I actually get credit for that because I think I hit end recording. So
did you?
Yeah, I did. I hit it, or I hit pause or something. Something happened.
So whoever hit it, I don't remember. It was all a blur, but it was all a dream. No, this is not a dream. The Buffalo Bills are in the head coaching market, along with a third of the rest of the league.
Yeah.
We're back up to 8 vacancies. We'll talk about that, but we got to talk about the Saturday games. We got to talk about the Sunday games. We had 4 football games, 2 of which I would classify as entertaining. The other 2 I would classify as not.
Yeah, it's probably pretty fair.
We started with the best game, though. We started with the most entertaining game. That was not an intentional choice of words. No, we started with the most entertaining game that was played this weekend was Bills Broncos, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Denver wins 33-30 in overtime. Ultimately,
they've won all season long, right?
Yeah, it was. Well, except for the part where their defense was exposed, right? The Bills' offense did the stuff, right? They scored 30 points. They had almost 450 yards of offense. They went
all over.
11 of 16 on possession downs, ran the ball for over 180 yards. Like, they did the stuff offensively, except for there's this one small problem. You can't turn it over that many times. They could have had 3 turnovers, I think, and probably won the game. They had 5. And really, there's a lot of debate over the 5th one. I'm not interested in that conversation. The 4 prior were plenty problematic, but it's a costly loss for the Bills. Not only is their season over, Sean McDermott is no longer their head coach, and so
seismic changes to this organization off the heels of this loss.
Huge, yeah, huge.
Not only McDermott's out, right? Like Brandon Beane got a promotion.
Oh yeah, he's in charge of all of it. The coaching staff. The Bills are now
operations. Is that the former title?
President of football operations and GM. I mean, do we have to? Is there a song that's going to play when he walks into the room? Do we have to bend the knee? Like, what? How does this work? with I mean, the guy's a snake. He's obviously a snake, right? His ego got huge, and we learned who has the ear of the owner. It's Brandon Beane, and we'll talk more probably later about the fallout and where the Bills go from here. But in this particular game, let's be honest about it. I mean, the Bills just made too many mistakes. A lot of those are Josh Allen's. Of course, James Cook fumble was huge. Missed throws by Josh Allen, not just the giveaways. Made a lot of plays, but too many mistakes to go on the road and win in Denver.
A team that now has their own, Denver was the team that won, but they were the team that was in the headlines for the wrong reasons on Saturday night. And now Buffalo come around Monday morning, finds themselves in the headlines, but the Broncos will now have to go and host the AFC Championship game with the backup quarterback and Jared Stidham because Bo Nix breaks his ankle on a QB sweep in overtime and plus side of the 50-yard line, and unfortunate circumstances for that to happen. But Jared Stidham playing his old team in the Patriots and the starting quarterback at home, there'll be no shortage of Nick Foles references in the broadcast.
He's already he's inserted himself into the chat, which if you're Nick Foles, I would insert myself into every conversation I could. You know what I mean? Like your legacy as the guy that did that.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'll be relevant forever. I'm a Super Bowl MVP that did this.
Storybook season and ending for him. And man, imagine Stidham, if Stidham QBs the Broncos to win over the Patriots, he'll deserve some big time flowers. Because that is a big gut punch for a team that just didn't know how to roll over, right? I think that's the thing. For Denver gets out on top early, and then Buffalo comes storming all the way back the way that they did. But because Broncos had the sequence at the end of the half in which they scored 10 points in 30 seconds or whatever it was, kind of
courtesy of Josh Allen, just saying, you know what I'd prefer? I'd prefer a 2-score deficit entering the second half instead of just one. He just rolled the ball backwards and gave him a field goal.
Can we from now on standardize not trying to get cute and do some dumb stuff with 20 seconds left before half?
Just don't fumble, right?
Yeah. Is the juice ever worth the squeeze?
They were in a very similar situation against Baltimore and hit the play and got a field goal. I
get it. And, and Mike McDaniel did it in week 1 in 2023 against the Chargers and got a DPI from his own 30-yard line with 5 seconds and a timeout and no timeouts. And they got a field goal there and won by 2 points. So I get it. But after that one time where it worked, we try to galaxy brain it every time. And you throw interceptions, you have turnovers, your quarterback gets sacked, somebody gets hurt trying to do something dumb.
Yeah, the thing about that play, though, is there's 17 seconds when the ball snapped. If you take off, you got to get out of bounds, right? Like there's nothing for you to do.
Cut up the field.
He didn't go anywhere near getting out. So it was always going to be a way. There was nothing good that was going to come once you realized that you couldn't get out of bounds.
Well, and I thought what was eye-opening is Sean McDermott came out with the post halftime interview and said, we either need to throw the ball out of bounds, or we need to find the completion or throw the ball out of bounds.
Yeah. That was never
it, right.
This never was part of the plan for him to run with that ball.
I think that's a theme for the weekend as we get into the kind of transitioning away from this game. Some of these quarterbacks trying to do too much in the playoffs, right? I mean, we'll talk about CJ Stroud. We'll talk about the Caleb Williams turnovers that he had. And obviously the last one was a big miscommunication with him and DJ Moore, and I get it. And the 49ers Seahawks game kind of was what it was, but God bless Rashid Shaheed because they get out on top very early in that game. And you never had to ask Sam Darnold to do anything to beat the 49ers.
It intensifies late in the season. Games are lost more than they are won. I don't think there's a lot of people that are going to tell you that the Denver Broncos outplayed the Buffalo Bills, but they also didn't make the same amount of mistakes.
Yeah.
Like they less mistakes
were missed plays. They weren't turnovers. Like Bo Nix missed throws, but he didn't turn it over on those wraps.
Right. Normal execution things that are going to happen in any football game. Games are lost more than they are won. The Bills went out there and lost a football game. Credit to Denver. Like you took advantage of your opportunities. You're getting to host the AFC Championship game. The Bills blew it. I think it's that simple. Okay, more to do, obviously. We'll get through the rest of Saturday slate, Sunday slate. The Falcons have a coach. We got a whole lot to talk about, folks. Be sure to stick with us. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Whether you're starting a new routine or jumping into player projections for the first time, trying something new can feel like a challenge. But with Prize Picks, it always feels good to be right. With high-pressure football matchups every weekend and elite hoops action almost every night, the action never slows down, and Prize Picks lets you stay in control. Prize Picks is the daily fantasy app that makes watching sports even more exciting by letting you build lineups based on player projections. There's no drafts, no waiting, just pick more or less and play it your way. Getting started on Prize Picks is quick and simple. The app is easy to navigate, and it's going to make games more engaging, more exciting to watch, especially when you're following individual player performances. And the new early payouts feature is a game changer. If a player starts hot, you can cash out before the game ends. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Folks, the NFL playoffs are here, and FanDuel is in playoff mode. Every game day during the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action because right now, Every NFL playoff game day, FanDuels get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts you can apply to the bets you like most. So open that profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boosts you want to apply. You make your picks and apply your profit boost to go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs are rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day.
Where do you want to go next?
Well, the next game was the Seahawks and 49ers.
Can I be honest?
There's
I can't get on. I can't get on, and I like San Francisco, but I can't think of the 49ers right now. Every time the 49ers play a football game, you know that song that I don't know what fan base made it, but it's blank the 49ers, and it's them with like the boombox and they're coming out.
Nah, I don't know that
one. It's like not a nice song to the 49ers, but when I hear it now, the song, I start humming the song in my head, and I'm like, I don't even have any animosity at all towards the 49ers. But like when the Eagles play him, you hear it. When the Seahawks hear him or play him, you hear it. Just too much attrition for this football team, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the overwhelming storyline for me is you realistically maximized, if you're San Francisco, every ounce of what your team was capable this year. There's no shame in that. But I think that's ultimately what happened.
I'm sure that's the sentiment coming out of San Francisco. What do you say?
Yeah.
It just too much went against you, and you went to the divisional round. And the game, the return touchdown to open the game. I mean, come on. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
this was not an interesting game. I think what is interesting is the Sam Darnold piece, with the oblique injury. Obviously, he's able to play. Wasn't asked to do a ton in this game. He said it's something he's going to have to manage throughout the playoff run. And, that's a notable piece of this. And they get their chance again against the Rams next week. It'll be in Seattle. But
we can only be so lucky as to get as good of a game as we got the last two times.
I'm excited for it.
Played.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Especially because, the AFC game is going to be, the Patriots on the road against a backup quarterback. And I think that expectations will be high for New England. And I certainly hope Denver can make it interesting. But if that game got out of hand, I don't think anyone would be surprised.
Yeah.
We'll see. That defense at home will certainly be a good test. Which gets us to that game, right? We go to the Sunday slate now.
Somebody in my Discord shouted you out.
For?
They said Joe was right. He said CJ Stroud just has to be Brad Johnson. And this is the 2002 Bucks.
That's all he has to do.
And CJ said, I'm going to come out here and miss every throw I attempt. Even the completions are off target, like way off target.
Kyle, every dropback felt like it was potentially going to go off the rails.
Right, a catastrophic rep.
Yeah, and there's a lot here. I don't think they have the offensive line. They don't have the run game. They didn't have their number one receiver. But that was not the game for, like, CJ Stroud needed to play differently. This wasn't chase big throws on the field. This was like, it's okay to punt is what he needed to embrace.
But even still, like, we have basic out routes that are 5 yards downfield and we're leaving them inside. And we almost had like 4 of them picked off. When he had that one that he left inside on that out route that he left as far inside as he did, I'm like, okay, dude, like, you might as well just hand the ball off on every play. If this is how we're going to be passing the ball today, like, it's not a serious effort to win the football game.
What was serious was the defensive effort to keep them in it. Like, how many different times did New England have the opportunity to just blow the door off this game? They scored 7 points in the second half.
Well, and of the 28 points they got, they obviously have the pick 6, where if you don't have that, it's a 5-point game.
Yeah. But CJ Stroud was not willing to play good ball. Like, it was too big. It just felt too big for him more than anything. Like, I was wondering the whole time, like, do you go to Davis Mills? It kind of felt like they should.
So this was one of those games for me that, like, the psychology of playing a playoff game, right, is you have to be prepared for it to be a 12-round fight, right? Like, you have to be comfortable with punts. You have to be comfortable in trusting your defense. You have to be comfortable with playing the field position game. And if you do that long enough, you will find yourself in a competitive game late And that's kind of how the Sunday NFC game played out, right? 10-10 at halftime. Chicago was a little over aggressive at times. The Rams didn't play particularly well, but they stuck with it. They trusted their defense. And then you get late in the game, and it was just like the Buffalo-Jacksonville game in the wild card, right? It's like, okay, like it's close.
Yeah.
And then it opens up at the end, and you get a chance to try to let it loose and make some plays. But if you start doing that too early and you make a mistake and now you chase it, that's what it felt like it was for Houston offensively for me.
4 interceptions thrown by CJ Stroud. How many times did he fumble? Remarkably, he didn't fumble. May was the one that fumbled 4 times and threw 1 pick.
Yeah.
What'd you learn about New England? Anything in this game? They got a defense that can kind of rise up.
Yeah, credit to the defense for the way that they played and made some splash plays. But again, it paired with how CJ played was like, okay, like one team beat themselves and the other team, Mike Vrabel continues to talk about the things you do to win, the things you do to lose, and the things you do that the blank you do that get you beat.
Yeah.
And they just continue to be the team that just doesn't do the blank you do that get you beat.
Yeah. And credit to New England, they're taking advantage of their opportunities. They really are. They won all the regular season games. They get the Chargers, they get Houston. Now they get to go on the road and face a backup quarterback with a chance to go back to the Super Bowl. So we'll see how they fare in that one. So then we get to Rams and Bears.
Good game.
It was a good game.
It was a very good game.
What'd you take from this one? I mean, it's the extremes of the Bears, right? I think you saw the
peaks and the valleys.
Yeah, it really what it is, right?
Yeah. I will always remember my reaction to that touchdown on 4th and 4.
Oh, 4th down where this is a hell of a throw, man.
That was I stood up. I said, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
That will be one of those like playoff moments. That's what I'm most thankful for this game. Now, am I happy that the Bears lost when I picked the Bears to win, even though I picked the Rams at the beginning of the season to win the Super Bowl and I faded my own Super Bowl? No, I'm not happy about that. But in the grand scheme of things, I think this was. I have a hard time getting past putting a lot of blame for DJ Moore here for this interception. I don't know how you felt about that rep and that play and the effort and the angle and.
Yeah, what do you think about it? I've certainly looked at it.
I think if you're a quarterback and you see the front side safety, and this is how Caleb explained it. He said, the front side of the concept, the safety pins down. DJ, we had a miscommunication, but I see a high safety that's off. I'm trying to throw him flat, and we just had a miscommunication. And what he's not saying there is DJ's kind of just half-footing it. He's, what's the Dick Saban? He's stumble bumming it through the middle of the field, not really like tracking the ball. Like respectfully, Cam Curl can't get that angle and crush your face like that. And you continue to just kind of me on the treadmill at 4 miles per hour your way up the field as he takes this angle across your face and attacks his football. If I'm a Bears fan, I am livid this morning at DJ Moore. That's how I interpret.
Me too. I didn't know that there was a whole lot of support for it being the other way around, but I haven't seen much of the banter. That's why I had to pause. I was like, is this controversial? Because they felt
it's Caleb, quarterback throws an interception. Here's Iceman's postseason stats, 2 touchdowns, 5 picks.
Yeah, I think I've been as critical as anyone on Caleb Williams, but not on that play.
Yeah.
If I'm a Bears fan, I'm elated with the direction of Caleb Williams in this offense. I thought you saw the highs really crescendo in a big way. And now entering year 3, it's about, finding the right blend of when to put the cape on and, doing the on schedule stuff. I think he's on a great trajectory. I really do. And we'll see where it goes. Get a little bit more firm with your front on defense, keep building. Ben Johnson looks like he's got the minerals, let's get after it. I think the Bears are in a good spot. Yeah. I'll tell you where that came from here on the other side of it.
Okay.
And We'll talk about more of the coaching stuff. The Falcons got a head coach, Kevin Stefanski. We'll react to that as well. Folks, be sure to stick with us.
The minerals.
Hey, guys, the draft pick positions are set. And so many teams are looking for their franchise quarterback. Ever wish to become a pro quarterback getting drafted first overall by your team? Well, now you can. There's a mobile game just for you called Ultimate QB Football Legend. In this game, you step into the cleats of a number one draft pick quarterback, and it's your job to lead your team to greatness, to help turn a failing franchise into a dynasty. This is the number one quarterback career mode game on the mobile app stores, and it introduces the most realistic environment with full career control. Sign contracts, you'll train and upgrade yourself, build chemistry and evolve your teammates, give input to your GM on roster moves, play the actual games in 2D, and rise through the ranks to become a pro football legend. You'll deal with the ups and downs of a QB career, from rookie nerves to playoff drama, and every choice shapes your journey. Ultimate QB is totally free to play, has no ads, and works 100% offline. Perfect for when you want to sneak in a quick game or two on the go. Just head on over to ultimate-qb.com. That's ultimate-qb.com. Or search for Ultimate QB in your app store. And we got something special just for you guys. Use the promo code LOCKEDON in all caps in the game store to get a free boost at the start of your career. Ultimate QB, football legend, QB1. It's your legacy.
The minerals.
The minerals. So there's probably going to be some of our listeners that already know what that means because maybe they are from the UK. Maybe they're from Europe.
Okay.
And so I went to watch the Panthers and Bucks game with some friends. And I didn't know everybody there, but a friend of a friend came. And so I'm sitting next to this guy. And he is the friend of the friend. He's a friend of. I've never met this guy until this moment. But I'm sitting next to him, right? So we're talking a lot about the game, and he's from England. And I learned later that he's actually a soccer coach. That's what his profession is. But he's a Panthers fan, and we were kind of being critical of Todd Bowles throughout the game. But then I can't remember exactly what happened late in the game. But Todd Bowles did something pretty aggressive, and it worked. And it's like very surprising. Yeah, that Todd Bowles like did something aggressive, and not only that, but he was rewarded for it. And my guy goes, "Todd Bowles has the minerals when it counts," you know. So you know me, I kind of filed that away. I'm like, I'm not going to ask you what that means, but I got some people, and I asked them, "What is that? What's that? You know, what's the minerals?" And I was explaining, you got the stones in the moment, you got the stuff, you got it, you got it. So now I just drop it in casually as part of my repertoire of phrases. So there you go.
I like
Falcons had the minerals when they hired Kevin Stefanski to be their head coach. Did. Had some convictions about it.
They locked him down on Saturday. He became the second coach to leave the Tennessee Titans on red. Where the Titans. Did you put this together?
No, but I had a conversation with you earlier today, and I think that ties together well with what you just said.
Yeah. Well, it was Harbaugh, and then Harbaugh flew home, and they were going to get on a plane and fly to Harbaugh's house in Glen Mills. And he said, "Hey, never mind. I'm taking the Giants job." And Stefanski had an interview lined up with the Titans and called him the night before and said, "Hey, sorry, I'm making a Facebook official with the Atlanta Falcons." And now Tennessee, we'll see where they go from here. But Atlanta gets an offensive coach with experience to come in and work with the offensive infrastructure that's been put in place in Atlanta, where you like the offensive line nucleus that exists and is in place. Bijan Robinson, Drake London. Do they ultimately choose to run it back with Kyle Pitts? We'll see.
Surely now. He had a great year. Are people talking enough about the year Kyle Pitts had? He was unbelievable and worked in line quite a bit, more than people think.
Better late than never, right? He had that amazing rookie season, and since it's been a bumpy ride, but he was back on top of his game. And if you know somebody that knows how to utilize a flex tight end, it's Kevin Stefanski with what happened with David Njoku and then Harold Fannin this year. So I think that boosts the Kyle Pitts return outlook for Atlanta. And you get a guy who's used to working with quarterbacks and trying to develop them. And he's going to get a chance to do that with Michael Penix.
I love the move, man. I really do for Atlanta. And we're going to talk about, 10 different teams getting new head coaches right? And there's going to be a lot of, I mean, if we're being honest, nobody's right or wrong today. You're going to have your feel about, the thought process and, what biases you have about the person they hired. And, then we'll just see.
Can I give a hot take real quick on that?
Sure.
Probably like a win-loss record somewhere else may not be the best indicator of if the candidate is the right candidate for you.
I think that this is a perfect example of that, where
it
I'm not real
both ways, right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. So I say all that to say that my early vibe on this is really strong. I like a lot of what Kevin Stefanski brings as an offensive mind. I think the nucleus here is really good. I love that they're keeping Jeff Ulbrich at defensive coordinator to kind of build on the success that they had this past season with a lot of unique personnel. And what I also really like is, while we do consider this quarterback room to have Michael Penix and Kirk Cousins, and, we'll see where that goes, with having a new decision maker in terms of personnel, with having a new head coach, you're not really tied to either one. And so whatever, like, to me now you've made this quarterback dilemma, it's water under the bridge. If neither one of them works out or stays, who cares? These guys didn't bring them here. And I like that for Atlanta. And so this feels good to me. I feel like the Falcons did a good thing. Now we'll see how it plays out, but it feels like a good, my vibes are good when I think about what happened here.
Yeah. And I think Atlanta should feel good about having some more direction. And I wouldn't say that Stefanski's like the pendulum swing all the way the other way, right? Because that's so typically what you see is, we had a hard-nosed defensive coach. Let's go with the player-friendly offensive guy. But the fact that it is going to give you some stability, where I know there was a lot of angst and critiques of what Zach Robinson did as the offensive coordinator, I think should at least alleviate that problem, when that's where so many of your marquee investments have come on a top 10 pick in Bijan, top 10 pick in Drake London, right? A top 10 pick in Michael Penix, a lot of money that's annually invested in the offensive line. That group has to be well sewn together. Yeah. And I think this gives them a chance to do that.
So Atlanta, you are onward. We'll see what the Bills do.
What do the Bills are hiring Davis Mills?
The the challenge with that is,
he's boys with Josh Allen, right?
He's boys with Josh Allen. Brian Daboll's boys with Josh Allen.
You can't hire Brian Daboll, can you? Fresh off the So Dabes was in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Josh's best year statistically, except for the MVP. Would you include the? Would you say 2020 or 2024 was a better statistical season?
What do you like? Do you like the touchdowns and yards, or do you like the mitigated mistakes? Okay, I think the best version of Josh Allen was 2024. The best statistical years came under Daboll.
Okay, yeah. So that's how you could frame this, right? So I get the connection, and like you could probably keep and retain a lot of the staff with Daboll.
Maybe.
What's going to happen on the defensive side of the ball, right? Like, is McDermott's going to leave and get a job somewhere, and who's he going to take with him? And I'm sure he didn't. I don't think Sean McDermott saw this guy. Like, maybe ownership had a conversation. It's like, hey, we really need to have a breakthrough. And then like they came to him and were like, hey, we didn't have a breakthrough, so we're going to change things up. But like you and I talked how many times, and never once was the most likely outcome in the spectrum of somebody who's as plugged in as the Buffalo Bills are as you to say, yeah, McDermott's going to go and Beane's not only going to stay, he's going to get a promotion.
Didn't have it on my bingo card, Kyle.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at. So if I'm McDermott, I'm probably a little pissed off, right? So
for sure. What a sour ending to so much success.
Yeah.
You already see it, his players, and there's not a lot of support here.
So you could hire Daboll for the familiarity with Josh Allen, but who's he going to keep on the staff if Sean's going to go scorched earth and take a lot of these guys with him?
I don't know.
So that's why I like.
There's a lot of coaches available. I guess that's the good part.
There are a lot of coaches available.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you could build out a fine staff, but it's not like, hey, we're going to keep the infrastructure. I don't think it'll be like, hey, we're going to keep our coaching staff infrastructure and just bring back Brian Daboll to alleviate what our concerns are on the offense.
No, yeah, I think if what you're getting at there is that there's going to be significant coaching changes.
Yes,
I certainly believe that, even if it is Joe Brady or Brian Daboll. I think the candidate piece is interesting, but also what the Bills have now done with Brandon Beane, who through all this got a promotion. He's the president of football operations and general manager. He's in charge of the coaching staff. So now the Bills are one of these teams now where it's all through the GM. And I'll tell you, I hate it. I do. I really hate it, especially Brandon Beane. I thought Brandon Beane had a real good case to be fired. I thought he was deserving of that. Not deserving of a promotion. You did the other thing.
Yeah.
I struggle. I really struggle with this. And like, I'm telling you, like my concern level for the direction and future of the Bills, super high. And that's regardless of who they hire to be the head coach. We could talk about the candidates all day long. Insert them. I don't think it matters. The thing that I'm concerned about is the guy who I think is most responsible for where this team hasn't been able to get to. And let's be honest, the Bills have different problems. It's not about winning games or winning a division. It's about
they have first world problems in the scheme of NFL life, right?
Right. Yeah. So like it's different. It's different. But the fact that Brandon Beane is now literally the dude, I don't get it, man. And that's
the king.
King Beane.
We have to bend the knee when he comes in.
I'm telling you, man, King Beane. It's King Beane. I'm concerned about it. I'm very concerned about it.
So I think that what if you're looking for hope on that regard, I think Buffalo, would it be fair in your mind to say that they have diversified the defensive scheme a little bit more?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Right. Versus what it was 3 years ago.
Don't listen to Trevor Lawrence. It's completely different.
Right. So the fact that they've diversified the scheme, they're not as kind of archetyped. I think it opens the door for them to be able to pick up some of these changes on the road. And then also, the fact that Beane, let's be honest, it was a little bit of what the Bengals thing was, right? Of we're going to try to draft guys and fill voids and address needs with what they did. And they supplemented it more in free agency than what the Bengals did because they are a high cash spend team because they have Josh Allen and they're not afraid to spend the money. But a lot of young, like the defensive front, right? Like think about the defensive front and the picks that went into that unit the last 2 years or so. They haven't really come to life, but at least you're not going to have regime change, flush the system, dump all these guys, and now have like this mass exodus of investments in players that you've made because at least the personnel guys are saying. If I was going to put on like the hat of I want to look at this through every lens possible and identify the pros and cons of each, that would be higher up for me, is that you're not going to deal with the attrition and the sunk cost potential if you were going to move on from everybody and kind of tear the whole thing up.
Right. I understand that. But if you're going to move on from one.
Oh, I think they picked the wrong one to move on from.
It'd be the grocery shopper and not the chef.
Yeah.
So I think the culture, everything that everybody loves about Buffalo, it's McDermott. Now he's gone. We'll see where they go.
That's going to do it for us here today on Locked On NFL Scouting. Kyle Crabbs, Joe Marino. We appreciate you guys for checking out the show. Make it a great rest of your day. We are going to keep our ears to the ground for any news that comes. I'm going to stop saying that we're done with coaching changes.
Damn it, Kyle.
Maybe the Rams will fire Sean McDermott after the AFC Championship game. Like, I don't know.
Are we? Boy.
I've embraced.
Maybe he retires. Maybe he wins the Super Bowl.
Too, who knows? I'm not going to say for sure. I'm shut my mouth. That's it for us. We're out of here. Kyle Crabbs, Joe Marino. Make it a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you all again tomorrow.